No? This week is going to be our last week of formal classes. No? So next meeting will be our last formal session. And then I will be online, no? During our regular session next week in order to answer your questions regarding the final performance assessment. Do you follow? Kasi 20 to 26 is the uh, exam week. Okay? Do you follow? So I think our formal assessment, our summative assessment is already scheduled here. So the topics covered are from jQuery, no? jQuery UI, AJAX. Since the last time we did Bootstrap, no? So galing sa jQuery UI, AJAX, and then we'll have Node.js, okay, and then Express.js, okay, and then creating MySQL connections, no? And then of course mayroon ng mga HTML and basically those things, no? Do you follow? Any questions so far? So yes.
May question ako, sir. Yung sa about ganyan sa PA4, sir, kay di man kailangan ilagay sa GitHub pages, sir, no?
It's up to you, whatever you like, no? Basta merong CRUDs. Okay?
Okay.
Say you use your own style. Now in my other class doon sa C# namin, I have created them demos, but many of them don't like it, so they create their own style. It's okay, no? Do you follow? As long as
Okay.
CRUDs. It's all the requirement, and you use script rather Express.js. You can also use Sales.js or Nest.js. No? I've shown you an example in Sales.js already. No? Okay. So when is the deadline of PA4? I-move ko na lang siguro, no? March 20. Is that okay? Para, I think, no? If you spend time on this, you can, using the example, the last example that I've shown there, you can finish this in a day, no? Spend a Saturday, no? To do this. And I'll give you a guide, no? On how to expand this into a full four table CRUD, no? Kasali yung teachers, subjects, and students. Okay? Kailan ba yung deadline? March 14, okay. Let's edit this. March 20. No? Pass. I will not inspect this anymore. Individually na lang, no? Kasi wala nang oras, and then, however, I'll just check it myself, okay? Check it myself, no? After this, I will schedule your, include a schema, no? You follow? An SQL schema, so I can just run it anywhere. You follow? Okay. So I have made changes, no, on the last CRUDs, no, from Radi, and because I'm incorporating AJAX examples, okay, and then if you want to use that, no, you can download this, no, ito, no, with Modal and AJAX. They follow. So we are going to formally discuss the concept of AJAX today. No? Any questions? In the next meeting, I'm going to show you how you can, a guide on how you can use that sample code, no, to do your or to finish your PA4. No? Any questions so far? Okay. So
after
yes.
Sir, after ng PA4, sir, ba may ano pa ba kami or wala na?
Meron tayong summative assessment, okay? Kasi
okay pa, sir.
Okay, summative assessment. So we have one formative assessment, 4 performance assessments, and 1 summative assessment. That will be the basis of your grade. Okay, you follow? So
sir.
Yes.
Okay lang yung walang modal and AJAX, sir.
Sa PA4,
Yes, sir.
okay lang.
Naka-
Okay lang, but I highly suggest you use Modal and AJAX because security, everyone is security conscious, no? Without AJAX, you will not be able to hide the parameters you pass in the URL. Diba? Diba?
Ay.
Without AJAX, I don't think there's a way to do that, no? And then, if you use AJAX, it will be very difficult to use a plain page, no? Because it will be very difficult to render a page from AJAX. They follow? So you usually render a page, no? A part of the page or only, no? A particular div. They follow? To do that, you can use a modal. Let me show you you download this, no? Okay, with modal and AJAX, and here's how it runs, no? Let me show you the actual example, okay? So I've made changes, no? This is not perfect, no? Meron pang konting errors, but they are ano, okay na siya, no? It's not security related anymore, no? Okay, for example, this is the no. Okay, why is it AJAX? Because most of us would like to hide our no. Okay, unlike before, when you do user management like here and you do a view, the URL will display, you know, the parameters and the actual route, no, that that you will go, that the server will will execute. The problem with that is it's subject to, you know, SQL injection, no. Somebody, no, especially if you don't have a cross-site reference, CSRF, cross-site reference forgery, anti-forgery, no, tokens. So pwedeng magkaroon ng SQL injection. At this point, no, this type of ano is subject to SQL injection. So pwedeng it could destroy your your data, no? So unlike if you're using AJAX, this is a modal, no? That's why in PA3 I insisted you create forms because you will use them in the modal. Okay, so take note, no? There's nothing in the URL, no? Okay. Let me try to add. Now, by the way, the adding doesn't need to have a modal, no? Hindi na ito kailangan ng modal because there's nothing displayed in the URL. Okay? Wala namang wala namang delikado diyan, okay? There's nothing dangerous that's included. So for example, if you are going to delete, no, like this, no? So there's nothing also in the okay, there's nothing in the so in the URL, so the delete path cannot be traced. Okay, do you follow? So you can go back there, no, like that, and then let me delete the test, no. When you delete and delete user, this is just a alert. You can do a mod. I think there's a way to do a modal within a modal, no. Do you follow? Kasi may modal na yan, so hindi ko na ito magawang modal. So when you say this, no, there's not something wrong, no. I don't know why it's may dinagdag dito, but it's nothing nothing dangerous, no. Wala naman siyang nilagay na it didn't place any any URL there. It just proceeded with the delete. Just like in edit, for example, when you say edit like that, no. Okay? Meron din siyang nilalagay na mga strings, but anyway, it didn't show the edit path, so it's all right, no. I'm still trying to find out what's the reason for this. I didn't encounter this in other platforms, no. Only in only in Node.js, no. They follow. So we now have an edit, okay, which is modal form, okay, and then AJAX based. Do you follow? Okay, let us compare this to our previous version, no, in version 2. Okay, there's version 2, no. Okay. So sa dati, no, if you have this like this, no, if you do a view, so you see, you'll get the path here. Okay. And then if you do an edit, you also get the full path here. Okay. And then if you do a delete, ganon din. Okay, which we do not like because it's exposed. No, do you follow? Any questions so far? So what I'd like to do is to convert this, no, this version 2 into an AJAX based, ano. Okay. Let me back. Do we have a backup already? I think we have, no. Yeah, I have a backup, so I will free to. Now let's do something before we start. Now let's do some slight changes, no, because I'd like to place in the views in the parcels, no. I'd like to create a file called header. Okay, I'd like to create a header parcel, which I would like to house the navigation menu. Okay, so basically yung sa layout, yung the nav here, okay, the nav here which is used to display the, okay, to display the menu. I'll cut this and transfer this to the header file because of a very important reason. I'll show you that. No, I'll explain that later. No, because I want, like, of course every developer would like to have their code formatted, no, para modular siya. By modular we mean if we can create a user each rather CRUDs, we could also create a teacher CRUDs, no, by using the same module, no, all or subject CRUDs, no, using the same module. No? So we will not put it there, no? We will not put it there, but we will put it in the individual, ano? So for example, in the home, let's just copy the partial code first, no? So partial, where did we put the partial? No, in the here, no? My partial code ito. That's how you inject a partial, no? So we copy this and then in our, we will inject the partial here, no? Okay, so it's just the same thing, no? So we'll call the header here in every page. Now in our home page, you'll also get copy this. Okay, where's that? Here, no? Okay, lalagay na natin sa dulo. Okay, baka para hindi siya mag-change ng position. Okay, show users, so we'll also place it here. Maybe the position will, okay, let's run this. What happened? Bakit walang partial, no? Is this the home? Baka hindi ko na save all, no? Yeah, I did save, no? Sometimes it's a common mistake to save. Okay, forgetting to save is a mortal mistake. So ayan, hindi ko lang na-save, no? So if you go here, no? And then you go here, may konting change, no? But it's okay, no? So I'd like to change this form, no, into this form because for me, no, this form is space inefficient, and you cannot convert this. You can convert this into a modal, but this will occupy a very large space in your modal. Okay, do you follow? I hope you follow me now. So anyway, we have it here, no, in our show users, view user HBS. No, ito, no, ito siya, no. Do you follow? Okay. Okay. So let me just rename this, no. So that I'll create a new, view user, no. Sa partial siya napunta? Hindi. View user.hbs. And then instead of having this, okay, I'll have a view user form, no? Okay, itong edit form, which is this one, no? Do you follow? Okay. Pwede naman siguro natin itong i-ano. Can we just inject this? Okay, we'll just copy this na lang, no? The user form here. Okay. Anyway, kailangan natin ng form, no? Do we have a form? No, we don't. So we'll just copy the show user. Now view. This is delete user. Yes. Ito na lang yung delete user. Okay. Because this is the same form that we have there. So dito. Ayan natin na. So we'll remove this. Alert is no longer needed. We need this, no? And the user delete form will copy. Kopyahin natin yung kanyang ano. Ito. Okay. We'll copy it here to the view user, no? Okay. Okay. Do you follow? And then we'll put the user ID. It's important to put the. Why do we need to put the user ID? Because hindi maganda, no? Let's undo that first, no? Let's just create a user view form. Is there a user view form? It's like this, no? So siya. Okay. So we'll just copy this. User view form. Okay. And then we will copy this from here. Okay. And then where's the okay. Ito na yung form, no? And then we'll add a hidden input because this didn't have an ano for future purposes, no? We'll add the user ID. Kasi ang problema nito hindi nakasali yung ano eh, user ID. Call this user. You're familiar with forms, right? This is the same, no? HTML that is used in Google Forms. No? When you make Google Forms, so ito siya. So this is do you follow? So and then we will create in our view user here. Okay, so we will call the user. Let's try to rename this. Kasi yung pagkaano no, walang ano, it's like the delete and then okay. So that in our user here we'll say user view form. Okay. Okay. Can we run this first? Before we forget, we save. Para maparehas siya, no? What I'm trying to do is to make my view and my edit the same. Ganun na siya, di ba? Okay. And then what we'd like, if you we'd like to hide this, no? So to hide this, what we will just put a property to our to our user view form, no? Dito, no? So since this is a class, no? This is a bootstrap class, no? Floating, we'll just add two classes. It's called d dash none, which means display none, and d dash print none, which means that also during time of printing, no, it will not be displayed. We'd like to hide the ID, but we'll use this in the submission of the form, no, later. Okay, do you follow? And then since this is we'll have a read only for each, no? Since this is display only, we'll put a read only for each of this. Okay. Para hindi ma-edit because of course this is just viewing, di ba? Any questions so far? We're using the same form so that we don't have to retype a lot of things. Okay.
Sir, kailangan ba ng validation, sir?
Yeah, no, not required. No, but if you want, you can put a client validation. There's a lot of examples in jQuery, no? Do you follow?
Okay pa, sir.
Kaya nang bahala sa validation, no? Basic lang yung ilagay ko dito, okay? Katulad ng email should be validated, okay? What will happen in the view user submit? Tanggalin natin ito ng action and method, okay? We'll have to remove the action and method, no? Because we copied this from delete user pala, no? Delikado pala yung ginawa natin, no? Okay. And then if you look at the view form, no? There's a submit button there. Tanggalan natin ng type. Because there's no need to submit anything, no? Let's run this again. Ang view ang pinakamadaling gawing no? So nawala na, it's gone here now. We'll submit, no? What we'd like to do is pag close niya later, no? We'll just doon na natin gagawin, no? Lalagyan ng close, okay? So anyway, we'll make that a close button first, no? Say close. Now, we will make our own. We will make to do AJAX, you have to use jQuery. Okay? So kung if you need to use jQuery, you need to make okay. You have to call jQuery from your link, one of your links. So wala tayong link ng jQuery dyan. Okay. So let me open my brackets na lang dito sa kabila, no? Because I have my guide in my other side. Okay. Dali lang, no? I'm just looking for my guide myself. So di tayo magbalik-balik. Okay. Nasaan? Okay. Okay, so dito sa ating layouts, okay, we need to make a call to jQuery. So we'll have to make a script like this. Copy ko na lang, no, to make a long story short. Okay. So dito sa baba, you can put it also above, no. It should be before the no, bootstrap, no. So, dyan. Okay. So that's the CDN, no, for jQuery. And then we'll make our client JavaScript. Okay. So dito sa public, in the CSS, we'll have our JavaScript here, no. Dito, create tayo ng JavaScript. So we'll create a folder called JS. Okay. Now, to make it modular, no, for one module, we'll make a client JavaScript. No, for here, for example, here, we'll make a file called user client JS. Okay. What is user client JS? This is client side JavaScript. No, so you can put your validation there. Okay, do you follow? Kung gusto niyo gumawa ng validation, pwede kayong gumawa, you can place it here, no? And then okay, we can, okay, in our main, no, we can put a reference to, shall we say, pwede ganito, no, user client.js, just like that, no. Okay, but we'd like this to be modular. Okay, so ang gagawin natin, we'll use, no, a substitution rather an injection, no, JScript. Okay, do you follow? So that in our render, in our controller, in every render we have, no? So dito sa render, okay, lalagyan natin ng JScript property. Okay, so lahat ng render, no, like show users, no, let's say JScript user client.js. Okay, do you follow? Do you follow what I'm doing? Because what happens is, no, the substitution will be done here, no, JScript, depending on the render. Because if you have teachers, you will be using teacher client.js. If you have students, you will be using student client.js. Okay, so that it will be easy to replicate, no. That's how. That's why you have to think forward, no. Think in advance how you can copy it and to make these modules reusable into other purposes. Do you follow? So let's go back to that, and then we'll just copy this. Okay, and then for every render, for all the render that you have there, no. So titingnan mo lahat ng render. Okay. Let's try to find out why, no? And then that's the main reason why I placed the header separately, so that you don't have to render the layout. We don't like the layout to be null. Okay, because once the layout is null, the JavaScript is also not rendered. Do you follow? Hindi nasali sa yung JavaScript. So that's why sometimes you will wonder why is it that the functions don't get fired. Okay, let us run this again. Let me show you the effect, no. Okay, so for example, if you view the page source, no. Okay, so you have a CSS there, and then you have oh, hindi pa niya na-render, no? Because ang home natin, anyway, no? Let's look at user management, and then let's view the page. Okay, below. So, hindi niya na-render. Why is it? Dapat i-render niya dito separately, no? JScript. Let's look at that, no? Let's look at the user controller. Show users. Hindi na render, no? Wala na render dito, no? There's a render here. It should have a JScript. Okay. Home din. Where's our home? Okay. Saan napunta ngayon yung ating ano? It's in object.js, no? Where's our home? Okay, so maglagay din tayo ng JScript here. Okay. So that okay, it will be rendered. Let's try that again. And then open our no. O yan, di ba? Nag-change dito. Okay. So we can have an all.js or home.js, no? So that in our home, dito sa home, we'll say home.js. Okay. Home client, no? We have to specify home client because this runs on the client side, okay? So maglalagay din tayo ng here, no? Let's add the file home client. So remember, no? This JavaScript that's running on public, no, JS will run on the client, but the JavaScripts which run on the controller and routes run on the server. Do you follow? So we cannot avoid client here, no? We have to transfer from client side. We have to program two things, no? The client side and the server side. Okay, and then we try to communicate with each other, no? The back end and the front end. Okay, do you follow? Now let's look at our show users, no? Okay. Ang ating view user muna, no? Okay. Okay. Let's look at the parcels. Okay. Let's change that button again, no? Dun sa ano? Dito sa user view. Okay. So AHREF, it just goes back to users. Okay. So close na siya. Okay. So what happens is it just displays it again. Okay. Ganun lang naman, no? Say view and then you close, it goes back there. Okay. So ganun lang naman. And then we have removed in our user view form, no? We have removed in our view user the action. Okay. We can still have a get action. Okay. Pwede pa rin tayong gumawa ng get action. Okay. copy this. So it's no longer a post action. Okay, so it's a get action which we'll call /users. Okay, which means that the moment you submit this form, no, or you click the button close, it will go to users again. Okay, I don't have to rerun this. We're running this too much, no? Okay. Now let's go back to our button. Okay, for our view user. Okay na tong okay na tong button, no? Okay, you follow? And then we look at our user client JS, no? Okay, first we will change the view users here, no? The show users, no? Kasi meron tayong button dito na view, edit, delete. Do you follow? So this view user will no longer work because this is the no AJAX version. Okay. Comment out ko lang, no? So we don't lose anything. And then we will change this with an href. Okay. Which, okay, with an ahref which does not point to anything, no? What do you mean not point to anything? Hindi natin ipa-point yung ano, i-hide nga natin yung ano eh. Okay? I-hide natin yung URL for viewing. Okay? Do you follow? Okay. So what we'll do is remove this href. Okay. When you remove the href, there will be no ano, but we can have an on click. Okay. To make a long story short, let me just copy the on click. Okay. You follow? So when there's a click to this button, okay, we will call view record. Okay, on the local client JavaScript. Okay, we will display the ID, we'll pass the ID and a title. Okay, so here's the view record, no, function. Now this is very important. Now how the AJAX call is issued. Okay, so now, so this is view record. We specify the get URL. Okay, from this show users. Dito says show users. This is the get URL, users/view user. Okay, and the title is display user. Okay, do you follow? And then in our user client, this is the view record. We have to we receive the get URL to be run on the server, and then the UID and the title of the modal. Do you follow? Now, how do we make a modal? You can search for bootstrap modals. Okay, do you follow? To do a modal, you just put a div in your main layout. Okay. To insert a modal, you put a div in your main layout. What is that div? Ito, no, you can Google this from bootstrap modals, no. Anyway, we have a bootstrap already. Okay. So no, after body. Okay. After body, after div of the body. Okay. We'll put a div here. This is not dangerous, no, because this is a hidden modal initially, no. Okay, this is a hidden modal initially. Okay, do you follow? Okay, now let's look at how it's fired, no. So we will issue a get URL. Okay, we'll call a get to this and pass this the ID of the user, which was encoded, which was shown in show users. Do you follow ito? Kasi may ID dito, di ba ito? This ID, one of the columns. So we are going to pass it to this function, to this so that Okay, we can make a call to this route. So itong route na to. Sorry, ito no. Route na to. Get to the route of users. Mabuti pa ano na lang natin no, pero but it's ano to pass this as a variable no. Para hindi makita, but this is the actual route no. Comment ko na lang doon no. So that ito yung kanyang ano sa users no. Doon siya papunta sa user/view user. Okay? Tapos i-pass niya yung ID na yon. Do you follow? So now, what we'll do is to go to our user route. Here, no? So we'll have your view user. Okay? Mali itong view all, no? Do you follow? This time, we are going, this is no AJAX, no? We have to comment this out. Okay? So no AJAX. And then, this time we'll copy this. Then i-comment out natin ito. This time we are not going to pass any. Okay. Wala na tayong i-pass na ID because the AJAX will do the passing for us. Okay. And then we'll say view user. With AJAX. Okay. Let's not change anything. No? So we don't have a view user. Okay. But we have a view all here. So we'll find a view all and then we'll just copy it. No? So view all old, this is old version. No AJAX. Okay. Now we'll copy a new version. View user. New version with AJAX. No? Okay. Kasi sa AJAX, we no longer have that the facility to get the params. However, we can get the query. No? So pwede natin ganito gawin, no? var uid is equal to rec.query.id. Okay, so that now we can have here use this as uid. Okay, papalitan natin ito, no? We didn't change the no. So ito lang pinagkakaiba nila. With AJAX, you know, at the back end, you can now receive the ID that is passed by the client call, no? Yung pag-call ng client, file save all. No? Pag-call ng client, this is, remember, this is the client call, no? May ID siya, it passes the ID here. Do you follow? Okay? And then, pag-call ng client in our controller, we can now receive the parameters as rec.query.id. So we pass it to this variable and pass it here again. Okay? Do you follow? And if you look at our AJAX, no, pagkatapos niya ng i-call yung function of get, okay, it will render the response. Now look at that. No? In our controller, we rendered view user. Okay? We rendered view user. Where's the view user? Let's find it here. View user ito, no? Which will call user view form ito. So i-display niya ito. Okay, it will display the no, it will display that form. But that form, remember, is read only. No? It's like edit user, but this time it's read only. So it will return this response, no? Response that render view user. And what happens is it will be received by this res here. Okay? Do you follow? And we're using jQuery to get for modal body. Where is that? It's in our main HBS. Ito, modal. This is the modal class, and this is the modal body. Do you follow? Do you get my point? No? So, by that, when we say modal, that modal that HTML res. So whatever is what was rendered by the server will be returned here and will be placed here. And the title here which is passed, no, will also be displayed. And when you say that form form modal, that modal that show, it is then that the modal is made visible. Okay? I hope you follow, no? I hope you follow. That's very important, no? Because all programmers should know AJAX so that you will be able to hide your URL parameters. No? That's a must. Okay? May kulang tayo dito. Anong problema? Okay. Okay. Ang sabi niya? 22. Requires a callback function to get. Okay. So nandito lang ito sa ano, no? Sa let's look at the route because this is a get view user and then user controller view user. Okay, and then what's the ano? Pagkakulang lang ng slash, okay? Where's the route again? View user. Did we have that already? Pagka walang view user, no? Or maybe we did not save it. View user. User controller view user. Dito ang ano, no? Dito, so most probably dito ang mali. Okay? So let's look at our user controller. View a user, mali. May kulang. We have to delete this, okay? It should be view a single user, but anyway, we have named it view user, so we'll keep it that way. Wala na, okay? Now let's run this. We hope you follow, no? So pag ganyan, and then we say, oh, tingnan mo, did you follow? So naka-AJAX na tayo. We have done two things here, no? We have displayed it into AJAX, okay? We have displayed it into AJAX, and then at the same time, we have removed the URL, no? So to hide, no, for security reasons. At the same time, we have used a modal. Okay, so we can improve this further, and we know that the user view form, pwede na wala yung, we can remove the user management here, no? Can we remove this because this is a waste of space? Pwede na itong wala itong buong knob. Okay, because this okay, control X ko lang, no? Because that's a waste of space. Let's do that again. So I hope you understand AJAX, no? AJAX is done on the client, no? It's not done on the server. Okay. Okay. So may space na tayo doon, and then we can close. Pareho lang naman yung ano, no? Okay. So this is also read only. Take note. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions? Haba ng ating naubos, no? I hope we can do the edit. Okay. Anyway, rather the delete first, because the delete is the same as view, no? Kaya lang ang sa delete, you will have to use the delete button. You have to use the delete form. Okay. You follow? So what do we need to do? We need to create a user delete form. Nandito na pala, oh. Okay. Okay. So meron na pala, gagawin na lang nating modal. Okay. We have that already. And then, yeah. Okay, we'll have to change this, no? Okay. First, we'll have to make a call, no? So, pupunta naman tayo, balik naman tayo sa ating, we have to show the record to delete. Okay. So, what we'll do here is in our very first is in our show users, no? Balik tayo sa show users, no? There's a delete button here, no? So, okay, we'll have to change this because this is the old version, no? It is an old version which shows the URL. This is very dangerous, no? we don't like this, no, because this shows the URL of the delete, and then it's subject to SQL injection again if that URL is exposed. We have to change this. Okay. Ito na yung we will call an AJAX here, no? Okay. So tanggalin natin yung href because we don't like to show the Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? So what we'll do is call an on-click. Make an on-click. Okay. To make a long story short, here's the on-click. Okay. So on-click will have view user. We'll pass the ID and the title of the modal is view user. This no, hindi na siya display user pala, no? Ano ba ito? View record pala. It's not view record. It's delete, show record to delete. I copied the wrong thing, okay? So anyway. Ito pala. Ito pala yung on-click, no? To make a long story short, this is the on-click. Okay, so this is like view record, but instead of that, we just show the record to delete. Okay, do you follow? Do you follow? And then in the show record to delete, there's a delete button. Okay, so in our user client here, we'll have a show record to delete. Okay. So this is still a get request, no? Get pa rin yung AJAX. Now, if you look at them, they're similar, no? They're similar to view record. Okay, so show record to delete. Pero it has a get URL, no? It does this and pass the UID. But this time, no? Okay, what's the no? This is the controller route. Okay. Ito yung route na susundin niya. Okay. Show user to delete. Do you follow? Okay. And then it will pass the ID. And at the same time, when it's successful, it will render it into a modal that show. Okay. Do you follow? Okay. So we'll just have to implement this show user to delete in our route. Okay. So there's the delete user. Do you follow? There's the get. This is old version, no AJAX. No AJAX version. So we'll need to get show user to delete. That's our path, no? Okay. To make a long story short, let me just copy that route again, no? Ang tawag natin doon? No, it's not. Yeah, show user to delete. Okay, so we will not have that slash anymore because then you say user controller. It's the AJAX version. You follow? So we just get, and then there's no parameter anymore, no? So it will be hidden from the no. Okay. So we'll have to look at the user controller for delete. This is the post, no? This is the get first, no? Ito yung delete, no? Okay, so what's wrong with this? Anong kulang dito? Yung ating UID, no? We'll say var UID is equal to ret dot query dot ID. Remember that's passed by the AJAX file, passed by the AJAX call. Okay, now we'll use this as UID. Okay, so there's nothing much to change. Halos pareho lang, kaya hindi na lang, we did not rename an old, no? We just have to use this again, no? This is a get request. So yeah, so makuha natin yung UID and then we will render delete user. And then pag delete user, there's a button called delete, no? In the user deletion form. Okay, do you follow? Let me check that, no? So yung form ngayon sa delete user should not have a post action anymore. Okay, so this form, okay, we'll remove the post action because we don't like this to post. Okay, let's run this first, no? Ano pa tayong 30 minutes, no? And let me insert a test record. Okay, so there's test there already. If you delete, what happens? Hindi ito na call, no? Okay, hindi niya ito na call. Okay, let's find out why it isn't called, no? Okay. Let's look at the show users. On click show record to delete. Okay. Let me copy my original code, no? Kasi kamay mali, no? Show record to delete. Baka mali yung path. Okay, let's check. Pareho naman, no? Walang problema. Baka mali yung path because the path we are using is show user show record to delete. It must be this, no? Hindi niya siya ma-call. But anyway, if you'd like to check, no? If you'd like to check, you can do an alert here, no? And then remark it later, no? Comment it later. AJAX. Hindi naman ganun, okay? Do you follow? And then we'll just comment this out later, no? That's how to do it because we don't have a debugging tool, no? Unfortunately, we don't have any debugging tool, okay? Hindi siya nag-fire, no? It didn't fire at all. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya na-call. Maybe, did we render? So, let's view page source and look at if we rendered user client below. Na-render naman. Okay? So, it must call user client, okay? Okay. Nandito lang. Hanapin na natin dito. Bakit siya nakaganyan? Show users. show record to delete. Okay, let's look at this function. Bakit hindi sila nagkaano, no? Show record to delete. Okay, let me just copy the, kasi baka hindi niya nakita, no? Show record to delete. Let me just copy this, no? And then go here. No, here. This is the client side, no? Sometimes you have to shift. Baka may kulang itong ano, no? May kulang nga ito. Kulang ito ng isang ganyan. Okay, so, okay na siya. Do you follow? Anyway, let's not comment out that note to show the process first. No? So na-delete yung ano sa client. Na-delete yung isang ano pag copy paste. Or baka may sobra na naman dito sa kabila. Okay? Let's look at may sobra na nga naman dito. Sobra na naman siya dito, no? Kamali tayo ng copy paste. Sobra. Now, it's important, to use that, how to use the alert, because that's our only debugging tool. Now, we were able to know that it did not go through the client process because walang alert. Ayan, nag-alert na siya, okay? Oh, yan, pinakita na niya ngayon, okay? Okay. So, we can now remove the comment. We can now comment out that that alert here, no? Kasi nandito na, or we can just delete this or comment this out in case you need to check if it's there, no? Kung pumasok siya, if it enter the function. Okay, now let's view that delete user form kasi may pangit dito, no? No, delete user HBS ito, no? Kasi we don't need this anymore, no? We don't need this nav anymore, no? Okay. We need this kasi baka ayaw pala niyang mag-ano. So that the user can cancel. Although there's another way to cancel, no? But some users don't don't know. So admit mo. No? So questions. So if you delete here, meron na tayo dito. In case he wants to cancel, pwede niya i-click yan. Okay? Actually, pwede siya mag-click outside, no? Do you follow? Okay? Do you follow? Any questions, no? So okay na tayo, no? So we have this already. Now, what I'd like to do is to check if we have a user ID. Tingnan nga natin because we are going to call an AJAX call again to pass the user ID. Okay? Do you follow? So if you look at this, no? The partial for delete form, walang user ID. Okay? But we could copy that in the view form, no? So nandito siya. Okay? To copy that in the view form, no? We have to place the user ID because we are going to get the user ID from there, no? Okay. So dito na tayo ngayon sa, we are now here in the delete button. What are we going to do if there's a delete button? Because in our delete form, no, in our delete user HBS, the form no longer has a submit action. We follow, no? No submit action because we don't want it to submit, but we would like to do the AJAX call to submit. It's like a middleware, no, in the client. It's a client, actually. It's called a client middleware, where we are going to call a function before doing the actual request to the server. Okay? Do you follow? Do you follow? Everyone, I hope so, no? So let us go to that. Okay? Babaguhin natin ito, no? So for example here, no? We'll change this div. So now instead of making a call to the server, we will do an on click. Okay, on click again on this button, and this is the okay, and then we'll do a client. We'll use a client function. We have to be careful here. Nakamali tayo kanina, no? To show to delete the actual record, because the first thing that is done is just to show the record to delete. When the button click delete is clicked, we'll have to issue now the server request. Okay, the actual server request. So let's do that now. Okay, delete record. No, this is the actual delete. So ngayon yung actual delete. Okay, we have to be careful here. Okay, this is the actual delete. Hindi na tayo we are not going to show the form anymore, no? Kasi this is a modal na, no? So wala na itong show ng form. This is the actual delete record. Now this calls the okay. Do you follow? So the delete URL, by the way, can be seen here, no? This is the delete URL. If you want to have a copy of this, you just put it there in the okay. Now you may ask, why is it a get request, not a post request or a delete request? Because post and delete cannot call the query, get the query, the request that query. So it doesn't matter anyway whether it's a get or a post, as long as it calls the server. Anyway, it's a get superficially, but it will do a delete. Okay, do you follow? Do you follow? Any questions so far? No. So if you look at our route, no, this is the actual delete, no. So babaguhin na natin ito, no. We are just going to change this. Okay, because this is no AJAX version. We are going to call an actual deletion. This time we don't pass. We also don't pass the we also don't pass the parameter, no, because we are hiding it. That's the main reason why you were using AJAX. Okay, this is the AJAX version. Okay, we call delete user. Okay, and then we will not okay, with AJAX. Okay, so ang gagawin lang naman natin dito, if there's an error, we are not going to show anything anymore. So we'll just remove this, no? Okay. For me, I'll just also remove this, the console.log, no? Kasi ang daming record niya, no? Okay. Do you follow? So then we'll have var uid is equal to request.query.id. Okay. Do you follow? And then when we connect, this is now uid. Okay. That's the main problem. We are not calling request.params because request.params will display will take it from the URL. Okay. Do you follow? Okay, we'll just close. And then bakit may kulang tayo dito? What's wrong with this? Kulang tayo ng isang. Kulang pa rin. Ano? We need a like that. Okay? Do you follow? Dapat nandun sa ano yun, no? What should we do here? Kasi wala naman tayong gagawin, eh, no? We are not going to do anything. Let me check my actual code, no? Console.log lang pala, no? Console.log lang. Let me just copy this again. This is just a console.log, so that if there's an error, the server will just log the error. Okay. So what's wrong with this? Okay. Yeah, the usual, ano, kulang ng isang. You follow? So okay na siya, na? Is it correct now? Okay. Okay. So let's run that, no? Ay, cancel. I hope there's no error now. Okay, there's no error. Lapit na tayong may 15 minutes pa, tama-tama lang tayo makano. Tama-tama lang tayo matapos. Now let's delete this test record. Delete user. Okay. So nawala na. Okay. That there's something wrong, no? But this is okay, no? It did not expose the delete route. There's just something strange that was displayed there. I don't understand why, no? I've tried this in another platform. Hindi ganito yung behavior ng AJAX call, no? I'm not sure if it's the AJAX call or it's Node.js, no? In rendering. We did not render anything, no? Okay, wala naman tayong ni-render. Okay? Did you follow? Everyone, no? So, itong edit, gusto rin natin itong babaguhin, no? Let me just explain the code na lang, no? Of the edit. Okay. So, first we'll look at user.hbs. Nandito na yung edit, no? We also change the button. Okay. Okay. The old version will just call this route or this URL. And this time we are going to remove it. We are going to call show record to edit. Remember we have show record to delete. Okay. That's the same thing that we do. We make a function called show record to edit. Now there are two parts here, no? Show record to edit and then edit the record itself. Do you follow? Okay. Okay. There's show record to edit. Now we are going to get, okay, the get URL, remember, is this, no? This is the get URL. This will not do a post yet, okay? Need to magpo-post. This will just show the record to edit. Do you follow? No? What will this do to show it? It's like this, no? Okay. When you say edit, this is show record to edit. Okay. And then submit is different, no? Submit will save the actual record, no? Do you follow? So let's look at the show record to edit. It will go to this get URL. It will just pass the UID. Okay. So now in our route, no? So pabalik-balik lang ito, no? So in our server route, our server here, no? In our route, we will have a show user to edit. So now we have first show user to delete, diba? So meron din tayong show user to edit, and we will call controller edit that user. So let's look controller edit user, no? Where's edit user? This is the get, no? This will just show. Okay, so it will select, no? It will select. So we have likewise we call var UID to get the AJAX call, no? The parameters from the AJAX call, and then we select it from our table with the given UID, and then we render edit user. Okay, and then we render edit user. What is edit user? Edit user. This is just the no. This will just show the edit form. Okay, and then the client call will render it, no? It will, the AJAX call will render it by putting it as an HTML of the modal. So our modal actually is a blank modal. Do you follow? Did you get my point? Now, what will happen if the user presses the submit button? Okay, we were supposed to make a post request there, but this time, no, but we have the same problem. The post request, it seems, no, that Node.js cannot get the query, no, the query parameters with a post request. So we'll just use an edit request. Okay. Anyway, it's just the same, no. So let's look at the edit, the partial edit user, no, edit form. Okay, ito yun, no. So take note that this is a submit button. Do you follow? No. And if you look at the edit user form, this is a form, no? Do you follow? Without done anything, but we still have the submit button, which means that we can make a submit event. Okay? Do you follow? Do you get my point? Kasi submit pa rin ito eh, oh? Type submit. Which means that when this is clicked, okay, the client will call the on submit. Okay? The on submit. So what we'll do is to create a jQuery, no? jQuery ang ginamit, no? Because it's very difficult to use plain JavaScript. So we have document that ready, and then we say $.edit user form submit function, which means that we pick edit user form, the form with the name edit user. So which user is that? Which form is that? It's here, no? Form ID, edit user. Do you follow? This is edit user. So remember that when you say the crosshatch edit user, we mean the ID, not the name. And then the submit function. Okay. Now this is the client side, no? Client side. So we can, there's a JavaScript function. This is now a JavaScript function which we can call to get the form data, because this is a form. We can only call this on a form, no? The form data. And then the user ID is get form data that get user ID. Where is this? No? Nandito sa form data, ito yung user ID. That's why we have a hidden user ID. Do you follow? The name, user ID here. Do you follow? Because when you get form data, what is applied is the input text name. Do you follow? The last name, the email, the phone, and the comment. Remember, we have here name, comments. So if you look at our client, no? So kukunin niya yung user ID na input, first name input, last name phone, and comments. Put them in a local variable. Do you follow? And then we have a console.log just to for editing purposes. And then we will call, this is no longer in the no, kasi wala ng form. So we'll just call the user's update user. We'll do a get and we'll pass all the data. Do you follow? And the data type is JSON. Okay. I don't think the render is done. No, this will not render anymore. Okay. This will just close the form, the modal. Okay. So this will call update user. If you look at our route, no, update user. This is the update user, no longer with a parameter. Do you follow? And this is the update controller, update user of the controller. So it calls the parameters, the queries, no? Call niya, and then it will do an update statement. Okay, it will do an update statement in SQL. I hope you understand this, okay? Tapos na kayo mag-MySQL, di ba? And then the where ID is also used here. No? Do you follow? It will do an update statement, and then we'll just exit. Let's run that anyway, no? Let's save all first. Save na pala, no? Okay. So i-edit natin ito, no? So for example, this, no? Okay. And we call submit. This is when the supposed to this post request, no? Isi-save niya doon, no? Take note, it's now being edited. Okay? Nagbago na. Okay, we can edit this again. Then call submit. So it submits. Do you follow? You can put another confirmation there. Submit this, yes or no. Okay. Any questions? So do you follow? There's something strange that is done there. Hindi ko rin to maintindihan, no? But anyway, it's not exposed. Any questions? So that's about AJAX, no? AJAX and modals. This is very important. Now let me show you something which I've done in closing, no? Konti na lang, 4 minutes. Which I've done in the same it's the same CRUDs which I've done in ASP.NET. This is actually my source, no, in converting, no. Pero maganda sa ASP.NET because it's very modern, no. It's like Nest.js, no. It allows dependency injection and well, konti na lang yung konti na lang yung masyado yung coding, no. This is the same, no. It's I've used, no. Actually, gitranspose ko lang, no, from my ASP.NET code. The good thing about this, no, when you do full stack development is if you know one, it's easy to learn the other. Do you follow? Madaling maglipat-lipat ng mga if you learn one, it's easy to transfer, no. Mabagal lang itong ASP.NET in rendering at first, no. Because I have another one. It's there already, no. So I log in, no. Itong login built in ito sa kanya, no. I didn't code this anymore. I just made use of it. Okay. Now take note, no. Merong this is the same CRUDs which I've used, no. Okay, merong create, edit, delete. I didn't have a show anymore because it's the same. Do you follow? No. I can create. That's the same thing that I'm doing. No. The same modals. No. So if you delete, this is the same thing. No. Iba lang yung icon. Delete. Yes, it's deleted. Okay. Okay. So the same concept, different platform, the same approach, almost the same code. No. The good thing about this is, no, ang ganda ng kanyang ang ganda ng there's a lot of things that's built in. Like for example, the login logout, no, it's already there. You are just going to use it, and then when you assign, for example, there's a user management option already, no, 2 minutes, which you can use, no, built in also sa JavaScript. You have to do it yourself, but it's okay, no, it's a learning process, no. There's an admin portion, no? Merong user management where you can assign users, no? Edit and delete users, and then you can also assign roles to users. Okay, you can create roles, no? So users can have, for example, ito si user.u.com is only a plain user, no? There are 3 roles: user and secretary. Okay, so that when the user logs in, he will have a different access and he will not be able to anyway. Let me show you this again, no, next meeting, because I'm running out of time. Okay, next meeting I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a guide on how to reuse that, how to use that sample source code in order to finish your project, no. It's already modular. You just have to add, no, modular na siya. You have a user module, you can create a teachers module, you can create a subjects module, and you can create a students module, no. Do you follow? Any questions so far, everyone? So I don't expect you having a hard time on this. Okay, may sample code na, no, modular na, you can just reuse the modules and create your own. Okay, any questions? Okay, so bye everyone. If you have no questions now, you download the sample code. Okay.
Sir, for clarification lang, sir, hindi mag-matter, sir, no, ang approach namin as long as makuha namin yung CRUD for all 3.
Yeah, but I insist that there should be an AJAX, no? Kasi hindi naman pwedeng walang AJAX eh. In the actual world, hindi tatanggapin talaga na walang AJAX.
Okay ba, sir?
Kasi you will expose your your routes, your edit routes, your delete routes, which we do not like to do. Do you follow? But if you cannot, it's okay, no? Talaga, I just insist that you use AJAX, no? So that you
Yes,
can
sir.
transfer. Kasi kung walang AJAX, hindi ka na magka-client side, right? Wala ka ng client side programming. Doon ka na lang sa server. If you do AJAX, you transfer between the client, server, and back, di ba? Mas maganda, di ba? Yung interaction when you transfer programming. This is called full stack development. Ibig sabihin, you are going to do the client side, you're also going to do the server side. Okay?
Yes ba, sir? Na ano lang kasi, sir? Information overload.
Yeah, it's okay. But I'm sure you can do this, no? And this is a very challenging, kasi there's a big career waiting for JavaScript and Node.js programmers. You can look for online jobs, no? Ang laki ng sahod. I'll show you that next meeting, no? Yung current demand for Node.js and Express.js programmers online. Tapos they are the highest paying job so far. No? I've already browsed that, no? Okay? There's a good career, so you focus on this, no? So it's time for me to go. Bye, everyone.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, no?